Hey guys, girls, and NB homies, I am but a puppet of the Eldritch Abomination within Detective Doberman, but you can call me Church. Welcome to Church on Monday, the show where I talk at you about shit I like, and this week, I like weird little spots. Today, we're going to talk about this small, inconsequential location in one of my favorite video games ever. The question of the day is... But before I break down the structure of this analysis, I do want to address something. I bet you can guess what it is. Say it with me now. No, it isn't the new filming setup. No, it isn't the mustache. That's right. I curse way too fucking much for the new YouTube rules. That's why you're gonna hear this shit. And that's kind of funnier anyway. Now, let's get to the thesis. Bloodwater Beach is a labeled location at the farthest southwest corner of the explorable Grancis Peninsula within the game Dragon's Dogma. In-game, there's virtually no fucking reason to go here. There are no main or side quests that bring you anywhere near this place. The loot here is basically disposable by the time you will have had any desire to explore this desolate but hostile area of the open world, and its discovery is even technically optional for those completionists trying to get the Discover 150 Locations achievement. Seemingly, the only interesting thing about this place is that the brine gets you closer to shore here than anywhere else. So what the fuck? I mean, it has a nice view of the sunset, and it's kinda isolated from all the fuckery going on around it, but why pour design and programming resources into this little respite, let alone the entire mostly unused southwest region? There are explanations we can glean from the game to answer this from both a lore and gameplay perspective. I won't be using interviews, art books, or any of that shit. We're just going elbow deep in this game's ass to see what we find. Why did I write that? Let's start off with... Despite often being compared to Dark Souls in its aesthetics, presentation, and story, Dragon's Dogma's lore doesn't get nearly as much discussion online as that FromSoft series. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. So, looking up the fan wiki for this location gave me a good starting point to establish what research was needed for f***all. It gave me f***all. Except that the beach boat gather spot is the only source of wooden boards excluding obtaining them from the startled scribes, which are just those guys who drop their boards when you run into them. So, I had to boot up good old DD on a playthrough near the beginning and find every little scrap of information I could about Bloodwater Beach. This was difficult because, like I said earlier, there are no main or side quests that have a single fucking thing to do with this little beach. However, added to the game through free DLC and later included in the Dark Arisen re-release were notice boards with boring-ass tasks one could complete for extra gold and experience. Editor's note here, that shit wasn't free. God damn it, Capcom. And sometimes there would be an escort mission whose goal was Bloodwater Beach. Cha-ching. This was my opportunity to read and analyze some actual in-game text about this place. And... f*** all. It gave me f***all. So I did the one thing I could. I put boots on the ground and took a fucking hike. Let's start here at my port crystal in the fork between Witchwood and Maul's Castle. We aren't going to explore the Saurian ambush trail because that just leads north toward the Shadow Fort and therefore justifies itself on a main story level. Are you getting tired of fucking fantasy nouns yet? No? Well, Nightfall Crevasse, the Caverns of Delusion, the Eradication Site. Actually, let's talk about the Eradication Site. Trust me, this little section will be important. While you are notified upon entering the named area, the map doesn't show the exact borders of the Eradication Site, so I'm just gonna say that it covers pretty much the entire southwest region, past Maul's Castle, below Devilfire Grove, but excluding the small valley called Conqueror's Sanctuary. Here's an unhelpful screenshot of the map so that you can pretend to understand what I'm talking about. Now, it's not made explicit, but it seems to be implied that this was the area destroyed by the dragon immediately after landing in Cassardus. You can imagine a swooping path that leads to its eventual nest on Tainted Mountain. It's a hostile area with fresh ruins, but moving all the way through to its furthest point on the map, you finally find the only signs of human habitation on a seemingly peaceful beach. But even with that glimmer of hope in this ravaged land, you can't find the isolated camper, and there's blood in that water. Here, there be monsters. Which brings me to what I believe is the more important reason this location exists. Now, I still haven't beaten death, so I can hardly be called an expert on this game. But I think it's fairly unlikely that you found this location on your first playthrough. I first played Dragon's Dogma when this was the menu song. And I know I didn't touch foot to fucking sand on Bloodwater Beach. I probably even got all the way to the Tomb of the Unknown Traveler and still didn't know about Bloodwater Beach. But on that second playthrough, when you actually know your shit, you start to get curious. You've got a couple of port crystals in your pocket, sure. One's a forgery that won't actually work, but you feel like you can finally head out and tackle this world. The most obvious piece of grayed out map is that area you fell to when those stupid fucking boulders knocked you off the path toward the Shadow Fort. And in this, there are a lot of cool little locations. That saurian-covered waterfall, this burned-down farmhouse, maybe a little goblin camp hugging a nice rock feature. That's some good exploration. And I think that's probably the one-word answer to this title's question. Exploration. This is an open-world action RPG with a speedrun function built right into the main menu. But it's also kinda pretty. While there is a little bit of location and lore speculation within the fanbase, the community is mostly known for optimizing the shit out of a playthrough. This is a game that can easily be broken mechanically. However, there's so much more the developers put their hard work and creativity into. And while the world building around the characters and quest lines is in the least very fun and interesting, it's nice to have this huge area wherein you don't have to worry about the politics of the capital, the doomsday cult, the giant fucking dragon, or even the stupid cuckflower your waifu gave you. Just a wide region to fight monsters and explore. And at the end of a long day of exploration, what's better than a rest on the beach with your faithful pawn? What's that? Wolves hunt in packs, you say? Well. So peaceful. There was a lot of other shit I wanted to talk about with this subject, and I might eventually do so if you guys have any interest. There are actually some widely discussed fan theories surrounding Bloodwater Beach. If I were a Dragon's Dogma lore channel, that may have been the whole video. And I also wanted to overanalyze every aspect of the location in a literary way, like why were the curtains blue kind of shit, or more specifically, why does this feel like vaginal imagery? But for now, that does round out this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say I'm back because my 50 loyal subs know how that tends to go, but I will say, As always, have a fantastic week. Love you. Bye.